Hello again and welcome to another Black Templar Friday. We're actually doing this one on Friday as well. It is Friday the 12th of January 2018. Now some of you might be wondering, what is I doing a little picture of a little kitty on Black Templar Friday? Well, I've got some news. I am now the proud owner of a little kitty cat. That is right. That's my big news this week. Thought I'd get that out of the way. Yeah, she's an absolute cutie. Little, got about 7 weeks old. She's very small. She's very mischievous. She reminds me of a sneaky elder. She's always sneaking all over the place, hiding under the sofa. I've had her for a couple of weeks now. Just wanted to make sure she got settled in, and she's on my knee now, and I'm giving her tummy rubs. So if you hear a few little meows, that's what's going on. But yeah, I don't want to go on about the cat too much because obviously it's Black Templar Friday. Yeah, when we just got it from a local family whose cat had a litter of kittens, and they didn't really know much, about cats. So they were like, "Yeah, we think it's a boy." So we got it thinking it was a boy, and so we called it Kylo, as in Kylo Ren from Star Wars. Wanted a bit of a Star Wars name. Turns out it's a girl, but it's been called Kylo now, so it is Kylo Ren, the little pussy. Maybe no, it's just real cute, and she does suit it. But anyway, that's enough about the cat. I'm just keeping her. She whines a lot when she's left alone at the moment, so I'm keeping her with me so she's not. You guys will be here in the background if. I don't want to lock her out of the room either when I'm doing my recording because it's you'll just hear you will hear her mewing, so that would be annoying. But yeah, she's falling asleep on me now. But anyway, for those of you who don't know what Black Templar Friday is, or just coming across this video now, or you haven't ever really watched one of these before, Black Templar Friday is a bit of a departure from the regular tactics and battle report videos that I put up. They're aimed obviously at being more educational and informative. And Black Templar Friday is the time. Well, it's not every Friday. I mean, I've been doing it pretty regularly recently, but Black Templar Friday is all about being relaxed. It's the end of the week. It's not Imperial Guard tactics. We just shoot the shit about epic battle stories, what I've been painting, what I've been playing. Sometimes it's, often it's Warhammer related, but as you've seen in the beginning of this video, it's real life related as well. And it's just a good chance for us just to share some epic moments we've had throughout the week. And we do end up talking tactics as well. There will be Black Templar tactics in here because Black Templars are my second army. So you get sort of 4 days a week of Imperial Guard tactics, and then 1 day a week of Black Templars with the occasional Black Templar battle report as well. So yeah, it has been a busy week for the Black Templars. Hopefully you've all seen the battle report now. I did the Black Templar versus Tau battle report on the weekend, and then I had a couple of games this week actually with the Black Templars as well. Not because I wanted to, but because I was just tired, so I couldn't be bothered repacking my case. So I took Black Templars down to the local club and play exactly the same list as you guys saw in the battle report. The 2 big squads, the 2 little squads, and the Crusader and the Terminators, pretty much. It's exactly the same list. I took it versus Harlequins. Harlequins are really good, these guys. I'm actually really glad that I faced Harlequins. I faced Harlequins twice this week because I had another battle against them on the Thursday, because I've entered into a local campaign in the local Games Workshop campaign. I know the store manager quite well, obviously, because I buy a lot of Warhammer. I've basically bought an entire Steel Legion army week by week off him, so he knows me quite well. So he invited me to the campaign, and it is full of newer players, but he wanted someone. He wanted maybe a little bit more experience. I guess he didn't really care who was in there. I don't know. It is they're all used to using power level though, so I think I am a little bit maybe it's a league for more inexperienced players, and maybe I shouldn't really be gate crashing it. But hopefully it'll be fun. But I won my first game. That was also against Harlequins. So I faced Harlequins twice in 1 week. So I can actually this is almost going to be, you know, like a know thy foe video. Although I think I could do a separate know thy foe video on Harlequins, because I've faced pretty much every unit they have to offer now. They only have like 6 or 7 different unit types, but I faced the different unit types, different weapon options they get. Yeah, they are a really, really interesting army. So I won both games with my 1500 point list. I had a 1600 point battle as well, and I was able to squeeze my Vanguard in. But yeah, it was a really, really good game. Both were really good games. Yeah, Harlequins. Let's do a bit of a let's do a bit of a know thy foe video. Okay, so Harlequins are really, really fast in both games. The first list I faced was basically 3 troops with the troop master in 3 of their transport skimmers, and then 3 groups of their 3 wound bikes. Harlequins are better than regular Eldar. That might be like a controversial statement to make, but their bikes have got 3 wounds. They come with a shuriken cannon and a crazy ass grenade launcher, and they're good in combat, and they've got a 4-up invuln, and they've got a -1 to hit. I mean, that is fantastic. Basic Harlequin troops, the ones I face, every single person is rocking a power weapon of some kind. It's Harlequin's Kiss, Harlequin's Embrace, Harlequin's Caress. And they can all take fusion pistols as well, which are relatively cheap. Fusion pistols, I think they're 9 points. I don't know because I don't collect Harlequins, but I asked my opponent, he said they were 9 points. And 9 points for... You're going to be in your enemy's face. That's the thing. It's only got a 6-inch range fusion pistol, but you're going to use it because you're going to be in your opponent's face all the time. So it was absolutely... Those fusion pistols came dancing in both games. And both games, they were melting Marines. My first game, little 5-man troop squad versus 5 Terminators. I thought, oh, this is going to be a piece of... this is going to be easy. I've got bloody Terminators here. Power fists and power swords and a storm bolts and an assault cannon. And these are... Oh, I'm sorry. And these 5 troop guys came in, melter-gunned the... 3 of my Terminators down. And then charged in and finished them off. Because they got 4 attacks each on a basic infantry choice. They're absolutely incredible. So... and they're tough. You don't expect, you don't, they're only toughness 3, but, the second list I played, so that first list was all skimmers, and that was able to get in my face like turn 1. Turn 2, so that made me, I was grateful I was playing Templars, because if I was playing Imperial Guard, I'd be looking at turn 1 charges. And then all my stuff would have been tied up. I would have been in serious trouble with my Steel Legion. But, yeah, so I was kind of grateful I was playing Templars, because he charged in and it's like, this is where I want to be. I'm a Templar. I want to be in combat. So I didn't mind that I was getting charged and stuff. Second game, though, so that was with skimmers. Second game, I've played against a foot-slogging Harlequins list. And I thought, right, at least my Crusader, my Land-Raider Crusader, will get a couple of turns to blitz down these Harlequins. Nope. They can run, they can move 8 inches, they can advance, and they can charge. And they get a power which lets them move again. Absolutely fantastic, fantastic unit. That's the basic troop choice. The troop. It's called a troop, T-R-O-U-P-E, and it is a troop choice than T-R-O-O-P. But yeah, absolutely, really impressed with the Harlequins. And they are tough. All the vehicles and the bikes have got -1 to hit, and the infantry, which just makes a huge difference. And the infantry, they haven't got -1 to hit, but they do if you have a Shadow Seer next to them. It's -1 to wound them. So if you're shooting them with lasguns, for example, that goes from winning on 4s to winning on 5s. That makes them as tough as a Marine. When it comes to wounding them, they are as tough as a Marine. if you've got the right buffs on them, which is incredible. So what you have is a unit which has 4 attacks base, can move 8 inches, has a 4-up invuln. You're going to be wounding them on 4s, and they can just get in your face, and they've all got fusion pistols and power weapons of some kind. So really, really deadly unit. I was just very, very grateful in that game for 2 things. In both games. 1, I'm Black Templars. Which meant I was quite happy to be in close combat. If I was using tactical squads, I think I would have been in real trouble. But Black Templars are just, they're really, they don't mind being in combat any way, shape or form. Often what would happen is this unit of 5 troops would come dancing in. And then they'd hit me and they'd wound me a bit. But I'm natural toughness 4, so half the wounds are often just bouncing off. And then a lot of the weapons are only like they're AP minus 2 and AP minus 3. So often I'd just be like, okay, I've got to kill like 5 neophytes. And then I just hit back. And often, you know, I'm hitting on 3s and I'm wounding on 3s. I mean, sometimes I'm wounding on 4s, but even so, with a chaplain hanging around, generally speaking, it was like, and they don't have the numbers I've got. They charged in against my Templars, would kill me down, you know, kill me like 5 guys up a 13-man squad. And I'm still outnumbering them 8-5. So then I just turn around and if I do 3 casualties to them, that's it. That squad's gutted. A 3-man Harlequin squad isn't a threat. 6-man Harlequin squad is a threat. 3-man Harlequin squad is it's already done. So there really are glass cannons. But things to be aware of when facing Harlequins, we'll go through it now. Power weapons, in fact, all weapons, all AP doesn't affect them. They're all 4-up saves. Everything's 4-up saves. 4-up invulns. I was finding with my Black Templars, I was choosing to take off my power sword guy. Because often what I do is, as you guys have probably seen, I take off my chainsword initiates first because they've got the 3-up save, so they can often tank the damage a little bit longer. Then I take off the neophytes, and then I take off the plasma gun, and then I take off the power sword. And then finally the sword brother. Against Harlequins, what I was finding myself doing was choosing to take the power sword guy off first, because he essentially had 1 attack. And it didn't matter that it was AP minus 3, because it's a Harlequin. They've got a 4-up invuln. So he was worse. I was paying the privilege in my Harlequin games. I was paying the privilege to have 1 less attack. It's a really, really weird sort of concept. And it took me a couple of combats to get my mind around it. So yeah, Harlequins. Let's go through what they can do, because they're very good. Pardon me. Sorry, I just disturbed my sleeping cat. So, Harlequins, let's go through. They are really, really fast, surprisingly durable, but if you can weather their storm and kill a few of them back, their power rapidly drops off. Once you've gutted a couple of squads or killed a couple of bikes or, you know, whatever, and once you've done about half damage to a unit, they're pretty much out of it. Yeah, so let's go through their capabilities. So, like we've said, they've all got they can all take fusion pistols. They can all take a variation of a power weapon, a Harlequin-based power weapon. Some of them are strength. If we're talking from an Imperial Guard point of view, some of them are strength 4, some of them are strength 5. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to ignore your armor, and they're all going to be wounding you on 3s. They don't re-roll hits when their troop masses are nearby. They don't reroll hits. Instead, they reroll all wounds. So only hitting you on 3s, but then they reroll all the wounds against you. It's kind of a trade-off. It's an interesting. It's very Harlequin-y. That it's not. You know, it's very left of center. It's very curveball. So with that one character, the troop master lets them reroll all wounds. And one of the other characters, the Shadow Seer, lets them be minus 1 to wound. So they can, and they're very fast. They will more than likely get a turn 1 to turn 2 charge off against you. And they're not, you know, I mean, I was able to beat them with a tournament Harlequin lists with my Black Templar army, which I don't consider competitive. I guess I'm very experienced with it, so maybe you could consider it competitive. But yeah, so I was able to beat them, but I think it was just because I have a lot of bodies on the ground. I'm very numerous for a Space Marine army. 1,500 points. I'm rocking 40 Marines, plus a Crusader, plus Terminators, plus I could easily at 1,500 points, if I dropped the Terminators, and spread the points out a little bit more evenly, I could take 60 Marines, easy. Yeah, but Harlequins, that's their capabilities. They are very. I'm repeating myself slightly here now. They're very fast, surprisingly durable, but they come with a caveat. They're quite expensive. We're looking at 3 light skimmers, 3 squads, and 3 squads of 4 bikes, and that was 1,500 points. So they are not numerous. But I think, and this is maybe if there are any Harlequin players out there that watch this video, or people that regularly play against Harlequins could comment on this. I feel like they're a little bit of a trap, the Harlequin units. People see the fact that they can all take these fusion pistols and they can all take these power weapons. And then people they stack on massively the upgrades onto the units. And I feel like maybe a few less upgrades would be better. Maybe it would be better to take like 10-man troops or multiple small 5-man troops, but more of them, and just have like 2 in each squad kitted out with fusion pistol and power weapon, or fusion pistol and embrace or kiss or caress, whichever one is the most points efficient one. I don't know which one it is. I think it's the embrace. I think the embrace is very good, but it might be the Harlequin's kiss. Yeah, and then have 2 out of 5. Because then if you take some casualties on the way in, you've got sort of 3 cannon fodder. But because the Harlequins, they're not cannon fodder, because they've got 4 attacks each, rerolling wounds. And you're not going to struggle to hit because you're hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s, you then reroll the wounds against Guardsmen, and that's pretty good. You probably get 3 wounds. Guardsmen have only got flak armour, so you can kill plenty of them. I don't know, I feel like in both instances, my opponents, in both cases, fully decked out their squads. I feel like that was slightly... they could have done with a few less upgrades and a few more men on the field, is all I'm going to say. So yeah, that's my sort of Know Thy Foe video. I mean, it's interesting. I wasn't planning on doing a full Know Thy Foe video, but I guess people have been asking for that kind of stuff. And I have had a crash course in Harlequins this week. I'm very impressed by them. Do not think Harlequins are like they were in 7th edition, guys. Imperial Guard commanders out there, Black Templar commanders out there. Do not expect Harlequins to be a pushover. In both games, it was close. Okay? The pictures I've got up at the moment are of like when our battle lines were battle was sort of met, and you can see I'm not facing a huge amount of Harlequins there. There's a few characters, a skimmer, bike, a troop. I came out of that. That's like, what, 30 Marines roughly there. I came out of that combat with like 10 Marines against those forces there. So that gives you an idea of how killy these guys can be. I think there was a Solitaire just off camera. Solitaires, guys, are quite nasty. Once a game, they can go up to like 10 attacks, and they hit on 3s, and they wound on 3s, and they've got a 3-up invuln. Oh, they're nasty. 10 attacks from a single unit. Incredible. But yeah, so that's kind of it. My crash course in Harlequins. I have two other big bits of news. Okay. First big bit of news is I have now amassed nearly all the models I need for my Steel Legion army. We're getting close, guys. I bought the last Chimera and the last Lehman Russ that I need. And I've base coated 2 Lehman Russes already and a 5th Chimera base coated and built. So I've got 2 more Lehman Russes to build and a Chimera. Okay, I have my 20 infantry, but I need to get 10 more infantry for the army. And then that's it. So all I have left to buy is 1 Steel Legion squad. So, oh, my cat's getting all... I'm going to let the cat out of the room 1 second. Come on. Yes, I know. You don't like being lifted up. I know. It's all scary. Go on. Out the room. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, so, sorry about that, guys. So, yeah, so I've got nearly all the forces. I almost bought the Steel Legion as well, but I thought if I don't, I need to get my Warhammer fixed next week, so I'll probably buy that next week anyway. And also, so that's what I bought with my own money, and I've invested some of the Patreon money as well. I wanted to make the Steel Legion a unique looking force, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about doing that. So I had a look around for some alternative Leman Russ turrets online, okay? And I found some made by a company called Cromlech, and they have a bits site called Bits of War. And I bought some of their heavy tank turrets, and I bought 2 with Tormentor cannons, which are like plasma cannons, and 2 with Crusher cannons, which are kind of like Demolisher cannons, but I'm probably going to convert them into battle cannons. So that's what I bought those, and I bought 4 in total, and I used the Patreon money to buy that because I like to use the Patreon money to, obviously it's being invested in the Steel Legion army. Steel Legion army are almost being built from the ground up for this channel, so that we've got a fresh, fully painted Imperial Guard army to a high standard. The Steel Legion have been, the motivation behind even collecting them was was to have a proper good army to show off on the channel. A bit like that's why what my Black Templars were for as well. And back in the day, what my Scions were for, back in the Blood and Shadows campaign, I wanted a good Scion force to show off on Blood and Shadows. But anyway, so so I've used the Patreon money to buy 4 of these turrets. They look very, very interesting. Go and have a look at them. It's Cromlech heavy tank turrets. They're quite square and boxy. They're a little bit square and boxy. The fluff behind it is they're almost like I'm going to say they're almost like this Armageddon Steel Legion unit that I'm using. They're going to be part of the sort of Armageddon task force that I'm thinking of, combining my Black Templars and my Steel Legion. And there's a few non-standard designs in the army as is. Like there's a few, there's traditionally Armageddon, Steel Legion, Chimeras have had the multi-laser turret. Mine have got double heavy bolters and heavy stubbers. And traditionally, I've used some of the Anvil Industry models as well, so they look a bit different. There's a bit of non-standard equipment in the army, so it's kind of like the sort of thinking behind this is that this is an Armageddon regiment which doesn't really fight necessarily on Armageddon. They've been shipped off world, and so they've got these sort of local variants of the planet that they're stationed on or that they've picked up. I don't know how I'm going to justify it yet. They look really, really cool. That's how I'm justifying it. And also it makes it easy for me to fit transfers on as well. So that's what I've used from the Patreon money to buy, and I think it's going to be a really good investment for the channel. This Steel Legion army is so close, and it's going to be really cool because you guys are going to, I searched online for quite a while for alternative Leman Russ turrets, because the problem I have is that I'm not an expert at magnetizing, so I often glue in, apart from on the new Leman Russ Demolisher kit where you get the Demolisher variants. Those Leman Russ you can chop and change the turrets as much as you want, the turret options. But on the basic Leman Russ you can't chop and change the turret option at all. You have to basically glue it in. And so I've got quite a few. I've got 3 Exterminator turrets, which I don't really want because Exterminators are rubbish, but I've glued them in so I can't do anything about it. So I spent a long time looking for alternative Leman Russ turrets so that I would have a place I could go to where I can just swap my turrets out. And I think there's a lot of people out there which have similar similar concerns. You want to be able to, switch away from your exterminator, but you don't want to have to pay another 30 quid to Games Workshop to buy another tank. Well, this is one of those options. So that's kind of, I kind of did it for multiple reasons why I used the Patreon money. The first reason was I'm going to be using the Steel Legion in a lot of battle reports, and obviously tactics videos as well. And the second reason was I wanted to find these alternative Legion Rust turrets and see if they're any good, and I can review them, and that way I can, you guys will then, you'll be able to save a lot of money. You'll be able to save 20. You want a new Legion Rust tank? You don't have to go out and buy one. If you're only ever going to use 3 in your army, you can just have 3 Legion Rust hulls and just buy 3 or 4 different alternative turrets and just pop them on each one if you need to. If you've glued your things in already, saves you a lot of money. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I think that's pretty much where I'm going to wrap it up for now. Steel Legion are coming along very nicely. We're on to the final stretch now. Had some great times with the Black Templars. Covered in depth Harlequins, what to watch out for, their strengths, their weaknesses. Got a new kitty cat. And talked about investing some of the Patreon money, so that's good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think. Lots and lots of comments. And of course, any epic battle stories, or just what have you been painting this week, or have you had just a cool thing happen in your life in general that you want to talk about? Put it down in the comment. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.